Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty. He watched the alien ship come closer through the big window. The alien ship was huge. It was 3 times bigger than their ship. The ship looked smooth and shiny like liquid metal. For many months, humans had prepared for this moment. They were finally meeting the Galactic Empire. "Message coming in," said Lisa Grant from her station. She was the communications officer. A hologram appeared in front of them. It showed a tall, thin alien with blue skin and big, dark eyes. The alien wore a fancy military uniform with strange symbols on it. "I am Admiral Vexithera of the Cytherian fleet," the alien said. Its voice sounded strange and musical. "Are you the humans from the 3rd planet in this system?" Jake stepped forward. "Yes, I am Commander Morrison. We are happy to meet your people. We come in peace. We want friendship and trade." The alien's face did not change. "Peace. How interesting. We have been watching your species for some time. We think you are too violent. The Galactic Council says humanity needs guidance." "Guidance?" Jake felt cold suddenly. "You will give us your warships. You will follow Imperial rules. We will control how you expand into space. Your violent ways must be stopped for the good of the galaxy." The bridge became quiet. Jake's face got hard. "With respect, Admiral, we do not want a master. We want to be partners as equals." "Admiral," Vexthara's big eyes seemed to get darker. "Equals? You are a young species. You have barely left your home system. The Galactic Empire has kept peace for 10,000 years. You will obey or face what happens next. What if we say no? Then you will learn why no species has ever beaten the Empire." The message ended suddenly. Jake turned to his crew. "Red, alert. Everyone to battle stations." Lieutenant Ben Carter looked up from his screen. "Sir, I detect massive energy readings. They are charging weapons. They want to fight," Jake said quietly. "Let's show them what humans can do." The first attack came fast. Bright energy beams shot through space and hit the Liberty's shields. The ship shook hard but stayed strong. "Fire back," Jake ordered. The Liberty's railguns came to life. They fired tungsten bullets at incredible speed toward the alien ship. The bullets hit the enemy shields and made bright flashes. "Their shields are holding," Carter said, "but they are getting weaker. Keep shooting, hit their weapons." What happened next surprised the aliens completely. Human weapons were different. They did not use fancy energy fields or gravity tricks. They were simple metal bullets fired very fast. The alien shields were made to stop energy weapons. They had trouble with the heavy bullets hitting them. In just a few minutes, human bullets broke through the enemy shields and hit the ship's hull. The alien ship shook as armor bent and air escaped into space. "This cannot be," Admiral Vexithara's voice came over the radio. "Your simple weapons cannot break Imperial shields." "Looks like they can," Jake said. "This is your last chance to leave." Instead of running away, the alien ship sent out fighters. Small, fast ships flew toward the Liberty with energy weapons firing. "Sending out our fighters," said Flight Commander Amy Walsh from the hangar. Human fighter ships flew out of the Liberty's bays. The alien fighters looked smooth and graceful. The human ships looked rough and angry with missiles and guns all over them. The space battle that followed became famous. Human pilots had trained to fight in Earth's atmosphere where fast thinking meant staying alive. They were very good at space fighting. They flew with wild aggression that scared the careful alien pilots. Target hit, called Lieutenant Dan Peters as his missiles destroyed an enemy fighter. Alien ships exploded in bright fires as human weapons smashed through their defenses. The battle went on for 3 hours. When it ended, the alien flagship was badly damaged and floating helplessly. Half of their fighters were destroyed. The Liberty was hurt but could still fight. "This is not finished," Admiral Vexithara said weakly over the radio. "The Empire will come back with a huge force. You have doomed your people." Jake looked at the broken alien ship. "Maybe. But whatever comes, we will face it standing up, not on our knees." As the alien ship slowly moved away, Jake felt that they had started something big. Something that would change everything. Humanity had just thrown the first punch in what would be called the First Human War. The aliens thought humans would be easy to beat. They were wrong. Humans had shown they would fight for their freedom. They would not bow down to anyone. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really like when they fought for survival. Jake knew more alien ships would come, bigger ships with more weapons. But he also knew something the aliens did not understand yet. Humans never gave up. When someone tried to make them slaves, they fought back harder than anyone expected. The first human war was beginning, and the Galactic Empire had no idea what they had just started. 3 months passed after the fight at Earth. The Galactic Empire was very angry. They decided to build the biggest war fleet in their history. Fleet Admiral Zefkol was their best commander. He stood in a huge war room on his biggest ship called Eternal Dominion. Many alien commanders from different planets were there with him. "We must destroy the humans quickly," Admiral Zefkol told the group. They attacked Admiral Vexithara when he was trying to make peace. "We cannot let this happen without punishment." General Thexnar was a big bug-like alien. He moved his heavy body and said, "Sir, our spies say the humans were just defending themselves. We told them to surrender first." "The humans could have joined the Empire in peace," Admiral Zefkol said angrily. "But they chose violence instead. This proves they are dangerous. We must stop them before other planets get the same ideas." Far away in the human solar system, people were getting ready for war. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the command center on Luna Station. She was surrounded by computer screens showing all the work being done across human space. "Give me the production report," she said to Colonel Steve Baker. Colonel Baker looked at his tablet. "All our civilian ship factories are now making warships. We finish a new ship every 12 hours. The factories on Mars are working day and night." "Good. What about our defenses?" "We turned all our asteroid mining into military operations. We are putting weapons on platforms all over the system. Every piece of space rock bigger than a car can be used as a weapon." Admiral Sullivan nodded. "What about help from other colonies?" "All the human colonies promised to help us. People are coming from every human settlement. They are bringing whatever ships they have. The Empire did not know something important about humans. Ever since humans first looked at other stars, they planned for space wars. Every human colony ship was built so it could become a warship if needed. Every mining ship could be turned into a fighter. Every civilian pilot had learned how to fight. The Imperial fleet came to the human solar system like a metal storm. There were more than 3,000 ships of all sizes. Some were huge battleships. Others were fast destroyers. This fleet could destroy entire star systems. "Human ships. This is Fleet Admiral Zefkol of the Galactic Empire," came the message. "Turn off your weapons and get ready to be captured. If you fight back, we will destroy your entire species." Admiral Sullivan sent her answer to all human ships. "This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Human Defense Force. You came into our space without permission and want to attack us. You have 30 seconds to turn around and leave, or we will treat you as enemies." The alien admiral laughed. His voice was heard on all communication channels. "You have 50 times fewer ships than us. Your simple ships cannot fight our advanced technology. Give up now and we will kill you quickly." "Enemy contact in 30 minutes, said Commander Bob Hayes from his station. "All human ships say they are ready to fight." The Empire saw what looked like a small group of rough human warships, but they did not see the thousands of automatic weapon platforms hidden in the asteroid belt. They did not see the converted, mining ships with their powerful cutting lasers. They did not see the civilian ships that had been quickly fitted with weapons. The battle started the way the Empire always fought. They fired massive energy beams to break through enemy shields. Bright energy beams shot across space toward the human fleet. The human response was fast and terrible. Instead of trying to match the Empire's energy weapons, humans did what they do best. They found a different way to fight. "Fire all kinetic weapons," Admiral Sullivan ordered. Hundreds of magnetic launchers all over the system fired at the same time. They did not shoot fancy missiles or energy bolts. They shot simple chunks of metal and rock at incredible speed. The Empire's shields were made to stop energy weapons. They could not handle so many heavy objects hitting them. "Impossible readings," shouted the Empire's sensor operator on the Eternal Dominion. "Massive hits all across our fleet. Admiral Zefkol, watched in shock as Imperial ships started taking damage. How are they getting through our defenses? The answer became clear as humans showed their fighting style. The Empire used fancy technology and proper military rules. Humans fought dirty. Mining ships used their industrial lasers to cut through ship armor. Cargo ships rammed Imperial vessels at high speed. Fighter pilots crashed their damaged ships into enemy vessels instead of running away. Captain Rick Stone commanded a converted cargo ship called Determination. When his ship's weapons stopped working, he told his crew to put all power into the engines. Then he rammed his ship straight through the bridge of an Imperial cruiser. "This is crazy," Admiral Zefkol broadcast as his neat formation turned into chaos. "They are fighting like wild animals." "Sir," his officer reported, "we are losing ships faster than we expected. The humans seem to think heavy casualties are okay." That was when the Empire began to understand what they were fighting. Humans did not just fight to win territory. They fought like their entire species would die if they lost. And to them, that was exactly what would happen. The battle went on for 18 hours. When it ended, the Imperial fleet was running away. They had lost over 800 ships. The humans had lost about 400 ships. But their factories were already working to build new ones. As the damaged Imperial fleet escaped into hyperspace, Admiral Zefkol sent an emergency message to the Galactic Council. "The humans are not like other species. They do not fight for land or resources. They fight for their very survival. They will pay any price to win. I recommend we stop fighting and try to make peace." But the Empire had never given up in a fight before. The first human war was just beginning. The aliens thought humans would be easy to defeat. They were learning that humans never gave up. When someone threatened their families and homes, humans would fight until the end. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when you made humans angry. 1 year into the first human war, the fighting had spread to 3 star systems. What started as humans defending Earth had become something the Galactic Empire never saw before. It was a war where humans refused to give up no matter what. Commander. Tony Rivera sat on the small bridge of the UES Defiance. His ship used to be a mining vessel, but now it was one of humanity's best raider ships. Around him sat his crew of former miners, cargo pilots, and colonial fighters. They were getting ready for another attack on Imperial supply lines. "Target found," said Linda Wells from her sensor station. "Imperial supply convoy at bearing 27 Mark IV. 3 cargo ships with 2 escort destroyers." Tony looked at the tactical screen. "What do you think?" "Standard Catherian escort pattern," said Carl Murphy, their weapons officer. "They are not expecting trouble this deep in Imperial space. 6 months ago, Carl was fixing mining lasers for asteroid work. Now he was one of humanity's best combat engineers. He had personally changed over 30 civilian ships into military vessels. "Okay, people, remember, we are not here to fight. Fair. We hit hard, we hit fast, and we get out before their backup arrives." This was how humans fought the Empire. They did not fight big fleet battles ship against ship. Instead, they fought thousands of small, vicious attacks that slowly weakened Imperial resources. Human raiders hit supply lines, communication stations, and isolated outposts with deadly efficiency. The attack on the convoy lasted 12 minutes. The Defiance and her sister ships appeared from behind space debris. They launched improvised missiles and disappeared back into the asteroid belt before the Imperial escorts could fight back properly. 2 cargo ships were destroyed, 1 was captured, and the escorts had to explain to their bosses how a few primitive human ships had outsmarted them. Meanwhile, on the Imperial capital world of Cathera Prime, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. Representatives from dozens of species filled the Great Chamber. Their different forms created a strange mix of galactic civilization. High Counselor Mertana was an ancient being whose crystal form glowed with soft light. She called for order. "The human situation has become impossible to handle. Their raids have disrupted trade across 7 sectors. Member worlds are starting to question whether the Empire can keep them safe." General Vaxhorn of the Bruthan Legions was a massive reptile creature. He slammed his clawed fist on his podium. Then we crush them completely, send the death fleets, destroy every human world. And prove to the galaxy that we respond to resistance with genocide? Argued Ambassador Yelthris of the Peaceful Worlds Coalition. How many species will rebel if they think surrender means death? The debate went on for hours, but the military situation kept getting worse. Humans had proven to be terrifyingly adaptable. When the Empire developed ways to stop their kinetic weapons, humans switched to energy-based systems. When Imperial shields were upgraded, humans began using exotic matter warheads. Every time the Empire found a solution, humans found a counter-solution within weeks. Back in human space, the war effort had changed their entire civilization. Captain Helen Parks used to be a civilian transport pilot. Now she commanded a battle group of converted civilian vessels in the Proxima sector. "Status report," she asked as her ship, the ex-freighter Resilience, approached the coordinates for their latest mission. "Intelligence confirms Imperial forward base on Kepler 442c, reported her second-in-command, Lieutenant Alex Chen. "Estimated, garrison of 3,000 troops plus orbital defense platforms." Helen studied the mission details. A year ago, attacking a fortified Imperial base would have been suicide. Now it was just another job. "What is our force?" 12 ships. Mix of converted freighters, mining vessels, and one actual warship we captured last month. Total crew, 430 people. The numbers would have horrified a normal military planner. Humans were attacking a fortified position with less than 1/6 the recommended force. They were using improvised weapons and converted civilian ships. The attack succeeded brilliantly. Human tactics had evolved beyond simple ramming and kinetic bombardment. They now used sophisticated electronic warfare, coordinated fighter sweeps, and most devastatingly, they had learned to turn the Empire's own technology against itself. "Virus uploading to their defense grid," reported Chief Petty Officer Nick Turner. He used to be a computer programmer but had become humanity's leading expert in Imperial systems. Their own weapons are now targeting their ships. Within 3 hours, the Imperial base was in human hands. The garrison had either been captured or had fled. More importantly, humanity had gained access to Imperial manufacturing equipment and technical databases. "This is why they are winning," Admiral Zefkol explained to the Galactic Council through secure transmission. "Every victory makes them stronger. Every captured ship, every intercepted communication, every piece of salvage technology increases their abilities. They learn from every fight." High Counselor Mirtana's crystal form flickered with worry. "Surely our technological superiority will eventually win. They reverse engineer our weapons faster than we can deploy countermeasures. Their industrial capacity is entirely focused on war production. They have militarized their entire civilization." What the Admiral did not mention was something that had begun to worry Imperial commanders. Humans were getting better at fighting. The ragtag fleet that had barely survived the first battle at Earth was gone. It was replaced by hardened veterans who fought with a combination of tactical skill and fierce determination that made them nearly unstoppable. Perhaps most disturbing was the human response to casualties. Where other species tried to keep losses low, humans seemed to view heavy casualties as simply the price of victory. Imperial intelligence had intercepted human communications where commanders calmly discussed acceptable loss rates of 70% for critical missions. "They fight like they have nothing to lose," Admiral Zefkol concluded his report. And perhaps that is because, from their point of view, they do not. As the second year of the war began, the Galactic Empire faced a terrible realization. They might actually lose this conflict. The question was no longer whether humanity could be defeated. The question was whether the Empire could survive a long war with an enemy that refused to accept the idea of acceptable losses. The first human war had become a test of endurance, and endurance was something humans had plenty of. Across Imperial space, other species began to watch the conflict with growing interest. If humans could fight the Empire to a standstill, what did that mean for other species who had grievances with Imperial rule? The war was becoming more than just a conflict between humans and the Empire. It was becoming a symbol of resistance. that inspired others to question imperial authority. The Empire had wanted to make an example of humanity, to discourage rebellion. Instead, they had created exactly the opposite effect. Every human victory showed the galaxy that the Empire could be challenged and beaten. 3 years into the first human war, the impossible had happened. Humanity was supposed to be controlled for the good of the galaxy. But now they controlled 17 star systems and had made trade deals with 43 independent worlds that had quietly left the Galactic Empire. Admiral Kate Sullivan now had scars from a dozen battles. She stood in the conference room on the UES Victory, humanity's first real warship built from scratch. Across from her sat Admiral Zefkol of the Imperial Fleet. He was no longer the confident commander who had once demanded humanity's surrender. "The terms are simple," Admiral Sullivan said. Her voice carried the weight of 3 years of constant war. Complete imperial withdrawal from the 27 disputed systems, recognition that humans control all territory currently under our rule, and payment for the unprovoked attack on our diplomatic mission. Admiral Zefkol looked exhausted. The Council will never agree to payments. The Empire does not pay money to conquered species. "Then you have not been paying attention," said General Paul Watson, commander of the Human Marine Corps. "You are not dealing with a conquered species. You are sitting across from the people who just fought your empire to a standstill." The numbers supported Watson's words. In 3 years of war, humanity had grown from a single-system species to a regional power. Human shipyards now built vessels that used the best captured imperial technology, mixed with new ideas that the Empire's rigid thinking had never considered. "Your raids have disrupted trade across 50 systems," Admiral Zefkol admitted. "But you cannot keep fighting like this forever. Your casualties alone." "Our casualties are acceptable," Admiral Sullivan cut him off. "Every human who died in this war knew what they were fighting for, the right to exist as a free species. Can you say the same about your people?" This touched the Empire's greatest weakness. While humans fought with the desperate energy of a species facing extinction, Imperial forces were increasingly reluctant to fight costly battles. Morale across the Imperial fleet had fallen as casualty reports grew. Major Lisa Cortez represented Colonial Defense Forces. She leaned forward. "Our latest intelligence suggests 12 member species have filed formal complaints about the war's economic impact. How long before they start questioning whether fighting humans is worth the cost?" The truth was that the Empire was breaking apart. The Peaceful Worlds Coalition had openly called for negotiations. The Merchant Guild had begun ignoring imperial trade restrictions to deal directly with human colonies. Even some military commanders had quietly suggested that containing humanity through diplomacy might be better than continued warfare. Admiral Zefkol turned on his communicator. "High Counselor Murtana, the humans will not accept a face-saving compromise." The crystal being's reply carried sounds of resignation. "What are their final terms?" Admiral Sullivan looked at her tablet. "Formal. Recognition of human independence. Imperial withdrawal from all systems within 50 light-years of human colonies. Trade agreements on equal terms. And one additional clause. Which is? Any Imperial vessel entering human space without permission will be treated as hostile and destroyed without warning. This is not a negotiation, Admiral. This is us telling you how things are going to be." The boldness of it was amazing. A species that 3 years earlier could not travel beyond their home system was now dictating terms to a galactic empire. Yet the military reality supported their position. Commander Sean Bradley was humanity's chief intelligence officer. He had compiled the data. Imperial fleet strength has declined by 40% due to combat losses and maintenance problems. Human fleet strength has increased by 300%. Our production capacity now exceeds Imperial output in 14 categories, including advanced weapons. "How is that possible?" Admiral Zefkol asked. "Simple," replied Colonel Nancy Webb, Chief of Human Engineering Corps. "You build ships to last for decades and maintain the status quo. We build ships to win wars and advance technology. Every human vessel launched today is more advanced than anything we had 6 months ago." The conversation was interrupted by an urgent message from the bridge. Captain Joe Miller's voice carried barely controlled excitement. "Admiral, we are receiving reports from Scout Fleet Bravo. They have made contact with 3 non-Imperial species in the Outer Rim. All 3 have requested human protection from Imperial expansion." Admiral Sullivan smiled grimly. "It seems the galaxy is taking notice of our success, Admiral Zefkol." The Imperial commander's shoulders sagged. The implications were clear. Humanity was not just fighting for independence anymore. They were becoming a rival power center, attracting species that had problems with the Empire. "The Council will need to discuss these terms," he said finally. "You have 72 hours," Admiral Sullivan replied. "After that, we resume military operations." As the Imperial delegation prepared to leave, Admiral Zefkol paused at the conference room entrance. "I must ask, what would you have done if we had offered peaceful contact instead of demanding surrender?" Admiral Sullivan considered the question. "We would have been your allies. We came to that first meeting hoping for friendship. You chose to make us your enemies. And now? Now we have learned that humans can stand alone if necessary. The galaxy is vast, Admiral. There is room for more than one power." After the Imperial delegation left, the human commanders remained in conference. The war had changed them all. Admiral Sullivan had begun as a career officer. She was now the architect of humanity's grand strategy. General Watson had evolved from a colonial militia commander to the leader of humanity's most elite forces. "What are the odds they accept?" asked General Watson. "Does not matter," replied Admiral Sullivan. "If they accept, we have won. If they do not, we continue fighting until they do. Either way, humanity survives as a free species." Captain Miller entered the conference room with the latest intelligence reports. "Ma'am, we are getting communications intercepts from Imperial space. The Korvaxi Republic has formally withdrawn from the Empire. The Zephyrian systems are in open revolt. It appears our little war has given other species ideas about independence." Admiral Sullivan nodded thoughtfully. "The Empire ruled through the threat of overwhelming force. We have proven that threat was hollow. Now every species that ever resented Imperial rule knows they can fight back and win." 6 hours later, the Empire's response arrived. "High Counselor." Myrtana's image appeared on the main screen. Her crystal form pulsed with what humans had learned to recognize as resignation. "The Galactic Council accepts the human terms. Imperial forces will withdraw from the specified systems within 90 days. Trade negotiations will begin immediately. The Empire recognizes human sovereignty over all territory currently under your control." There was a pause before she continued. "The Council also extends an invitation for humanity to send representatives to Cathara Prime. If you are to be our neighbors, perhaps it is time we learn to coexist." Admiral Sullivan stood and faced the screen. "Humanity accepts the Empire's offer of peaceful coexistence. But understand this, we remember that you came to us with demands of surrender. We remember that you forced us to fight for our freedom. That will influence how we interact with you going forward." "What does that mean?" asked High Counselor Myrtana. "It means," Admiral Sullivan replied, "that humanity will never again trust in someone else's kindness for our survival. We have learned to stand on our own, and we intend to keep it that way." As the transmission ended, the conference room fell silent. They had won. After 3 years of desperate warfare, humanity had not only survived its first interstellar conflict, but emerged as a recognized power in galactic politics. "So what now?" asked General Watson. Admiral Sullivan looked out at the stars visible through the conference room's window. "Now we build, we grow, we make sure that no species ever again has to fight alone for the right to exist free." The first human war was over. Humanity's place in the galaxy was secure, but more importantly, they had established a principle that would echo throughout the cosmos. Any species willing to fight for its freedom could find allies and support among the humans. In Imperial space, military commanders began updating their tactical manuals with a new entry. When dealing with humans, their only reliable advice was simple: run.